All righty, what is going on, ladies and gents? Welcome back to the channel for another market update. Hope everybody had a lovely day. And with that being said, let's dive into the TA. All right, guys, we did get that slow, steady grind higher today. As you can see here on the 15-minute time frame, you were just kind of, stair-stepping your way up. And I do just want to say, guys, this is not typically the look we get right before we fall off a cliff. Guys, if we do end up pulling back, it is a buying opportunity. Now that we are at a new all-time high over here on QQQ, we are going to be watching 520. That is the next psychological level, and that is something that will be acting as a magnet. Now, if we do pull back, all eyes on 511.45. That is our most recent breakout level, aside from, the previous all-time high over here. As you see, we grinded past that today. But that is the level that stands out to me. If you pull back, you're going to be testing the daily 9 moving average down there. And, I could perfectly see it. And then, worst case scenario, if you cannot hold 511.45, you want to be holding this trend line, guys. All right. So I'm going to take this off the chart. I'm going to take this off the chart down here. I'm going to take this off the chart, and we're just going to be focused on up here. On the weekly time frame, guys, this doesn't necessarily look like something that's just going to fall off a cliff. With how the day, closed out today, we're probably going to inch our way up higher tomorrow. I'm not saying it happens off a gap up, but I am expecting to see higher prices tomorrow. I'm not going to say how much higher, okay? Because preferably, I would like to see a pullback here with how VIX is looking. But I'm going to point out in this video real quick where we are watching on SPY and QQ for that pullback. Okay, so QQ, we're watching 511.45. Your support is going to be 516.26, 513.37, then 511.45. You want to see that hold right over there. If that does not hold, we're watching the golden pocket right over here. Wherever we print a high tomorrow, and if you pull back after that high, you will know where to draw that golden pocket from, all right? But that is down below, and that will align with the 21 EMA over here on the daily time frame, as well as that trend line. Okay, so that is QQQ. Upside, we're watching 520. By the way, I know we got a lot of levels going on over here on SPY. We're just going to take a bunch of these guys off, okay? And we're going to find some new levels here today, okay? All right, so break under 602.47. We are going to be paying attention to the previous all-time high at 617, just like QQQ. That would be like 511.45 over there. Okay, so 617 down here lines with that, 9 EMA over here. So we're going to be paying attention to that if you really want to go crazy with, okay? All right, if you're looking for a big pullback, you're just going to be watching the golden pocket over here. But, I don't think we get a big pullback with how things are looking, guys. We have the Magnificent Seven, the big boys, like I like to call them here on the channel if you're not new. And the chip stocks are looking like they want to rip, guys. Okay, so I'm going to point some of those out real quick in this video. But, resistance, we're watching 604.32 above there. We're going to have the 605 psychological level. And then we're just watching for 610, guys. That is what is next. And I do think that is coming, pullback or without. All right, but I, picture perfect, would like to see this move right here. Okay, now I'm going to skip over here to Mr. VIX. I'm going to point out, guys, daily RSI is at that spot again that, every time over the last 20 years, we have started seeing the VIX start getting a bounce down here. It can grind down here for a little while, but, at the end of the day, this is where it starts catching a bid, putting in divergences, and this is where, you get cautious, okay? So I will just remind everyone of that over here on the hourly time frame. It continues building out these bullish divergences, so I have to assume, I'm just going to say it's likely that over the following, 1 to 2 trading sessions, I think VIX is probably going to get a little bounce here and reset that thing. I'm not completely positive on that just because I'm overall bullish on everything. Okay. Like I said, we got the big boys set up to rip. We have the chip stocks definitely set up to rip. I think that's a recipe for further upside. Coming into the week, I thought we had a recipe for, NASDAQ hitting all-time highs, guys. We now have hit those all-time highs, and we're, a little above those, okay, as everything grinds higher. But, I think it's the individual tickers, the big boys, that we should be focusing on here, okay? But, this is why I'm not going to be really focusing on the indices too much as what I'm going to go over in this video, okay? All right, coming over here to IWM, guys, I do think this is just reversion back to the mean. We are now here at the, daily 9 moving average over here, the exponential moving average. If you cannot hold right here at 239.24, we're probably going to be taking a visit down here to 235.57. That's where you have the 21. That is what, supported price over here. As you see, that's where buyers started stepping in. Okay, so that's where you're paying attention to. But I will just remind everyone, okay, big breakout here. You got a big break and retest. all-time high. You broke past it. We're probably going higher over here on small caps. So, expect this dip to be bought. Don't be bearish on this guy, okay? It could come down in the short term, but it's just reversion to the mean before it continues higher. Over here on DAA, guys, again, just reverting back to the mean. We talked about it on SPY and QQ here. Watch the daily 9. I think we're probably going to find buyers in between these two moving averages over here. So, on DAA, you're watching 443.57 and 444.87. And on the upside, 450.64. Break above there. You have the next cycle level is 455. Okay, so those are the indices, guys. Now let's talk about what I am going to be focusing on. We're just going to make this video pretty short here, but I'm going to point out some nice setups for us that, I think are going to be paying here, and I am personally focusing on this month. All right, Microsoft is the first one of those. Guys, we do have a big breakout here, and if you want to just draw a little trend line over here, okay, you also are right there, and you are getting ready to, Snap City to the upside over here. Come over here, the 4-hour time frame, and this is what I really like over here. You put on extended hours. You can see you're just basing off of, break and retest level right there at 429.33. That's the neckline of this ugly double bottom. Okay, it's ugly because it has a higher low over here, so it's not exactly double bottom. But if you want to talk about a big double bottom, right here, break up here, neckline is going to be 445. That move, okay, so this move takes you up to here. You break above here, that move takes you up to a new all-time high. All right, so, I think Microsoft is set up to rip. The measured move is going to be, all the way up to like 448. That is what I'm going to be paying attention to. I do think we're just taking our time here right at the trend line, as well as, right there at the neckline. We're just putting in that break and retest before this thing launches. All right, now let's move on over here to Meta. Guys, 630 and then 650 is incoming. I put a 650 target on a while ago, and now, guys, we are clear as day seeing that come to fruition. I know it doesn't have to go straight up. Daily RSI is now overbought, but we do have this increasing volume 2 days in a row on this big all-time high breakout, and I do have to assume it's probably going to continue higher. Do I think it continues in this impulsive manner? No. Can it? Yes. All right, but do I think it's likely? Definitely not. I think you're probably going to go into grind mode over here, but as you could see, after you got into grind mode last time, you still had a $43 move. It just took some time. Okay, you just continued grinding higher. You could have bought every single one of these dips. Every day you saw a dip, you could have bought it. Within 1 to 2 trading sessions, you would have been up. Okay, so it could take some time here. It could take like 2 or 3 weeks, but I do think we're going to probably grind higher to 650, and that is fuel for the NASDAQ to go higher. Okay. We're talking Amazon over here, guys. If you see the pullback, this is what I'm saying, guys. If we get this pullback, we're definitely just going to be treating it as a buying opportunity. You're going to be pulling back to the 9 over here, the most recent breakout level over there. All right. And then eventually we're going to make a new all-time high and then hit 220. That is what I'm looking for over on Amazon. Tesla, guys, I'm just going to say I'm pumping the brakes after what happened yesterday after hours. It got released that, some guy wanted to be a little clown, a little troll over there is all I'm gonna say, and they want to mess with Mr. Elon. Okay, and when these things are happening, it is best to just sit back. Okay, sit on what you got if you want. That is my approach here, but I'm not going to be adding to this because, quite frankly, they can make this thing just consolidate and kill premiums for a little while, and I'd rather get better prices if we're going to take another stab at this guy. Okay, but chances are Elon's going to end up, being the case over here like he normally does, and we're going to see the stock fly. Okay, I'm not saying beat that case. He probably is going to get approved for his pay package, but I'm just saying this is a fundamental reason for the stock to go flat at this point, and we could see it go flat for another week or so, and then this thing catches up to price. And then wouldn't it look a lot better? Yes. Okay. So pump the brakes. We got some good setups to pay attention to. And now I'm going to take you guys over to Apple. Guys, we now have hit target number 1 over here on Apple after getting that breakout. Does look like it goes higher. I'm just going to guess it probably is just going to keep grinding higher. Dips are going to be buying opportunities. I don't expect the dips to be crazy. All right. But you see them. You could buy them. No financial advice on this channel. But, I like the looks of Apple. Big breakout after months of consolidation here. Consolidated for, about 4 to 5 months there, 4.5 months. It is probably going a lot higher than what it is right now. I personally put a 250 target on the board. I do think that is going to be hit over the coming weeks. excuse them all, 1 to 3 weeks. Okay. Let's talk about the other thing I'm focused on right over here, which is the chip sector. Okay. I think we got some of these guys set up to go. And SMH, honestly, over here, I personally took a position on this guy today. I like what I'm seeing over here. You pull back to retest the short-term moving average over here on the daily time from the 21 to 9. You now got 2 daily closes over that 21. I could see a little action like this where you go a little higher, you hit the 0.618 fib, it would go like this. You go a little higher tomorrow. Maybe it comes over here, 252, 253, pulls back. People are like, oh my God, we're losing our minds. And then it rips higher. Okay. It could be exactly like this. Okay. You got your second close above the 21 over here. You went up higher. This would be tomorrow. You go up higher one day. You pull back for, 3 trading sessions or so. And then boom, you start going back up in an impulsive manner. I could picture perfect see that happening over here. And I would like that to be the case. Okay. Or it just, starts going on a little ride. But I do think 260 is incoming over here. I think in the short term, 251 to 256 is incoming. That is the golden pocket. But above 256, guys, you know what I'm about to say. We're going to have the 100% retracement, which will be up here at 262.26. All right. So let's talk about some chips over here, guys, in the video. Okay. It's starting to shape up a little bit better, okay? I was thinking maybe we're going to have a little situation like over here where you fall off a cliff. Look at that. You didn't fall off a cliff. You printed a bullish engulfing candlestick on all right volume. And honestly, guys, I'm going to say above 140.70. This thing's coming to 144.42. You're going to test here. You got all the reactions going on up there. Look for sellers around that 145 spot. But, this thing is probably going to be heading up to an all-time high. And SMH, with how it's looking, I'm just going to not be surprised at all if the biggest boy of them all in that, index over there in that ETF is going to be running with it. Okay. So NVIDIA's probably headed back to all-time highs. Do this in for what you will. Print a bullish engulfing candlestick. You kind of voided my thesis over here of like, hey, all right, maybe you're about to get a gap down, but you didn't. Okay. It's not looking too bad. Come over here to APCO, guys. Second day. Look at that little gap up in the after hours. Look at that bad boy go. Okay. Second day, you're pushing up to this daily 21. I do think this thing's probably going to be hitting 173.37 in the short term. Above 169.87, you're watching 173.37. TSM, guys, this is the star of the show. You are now up at that 200. I was saying 200 to 205 is incoming in the short term. I have the nasty habit of just selling so freaking early on these things. Okay. We got in somewhere on this day over here. And guess what? We sold around 190. It is okay. Nobody likes to hear money is money. And honestly, I don't think, that's really something any trader should say to themselves because chances are, you just kind of execute your trade poorly. This thing, I was looking at it to run a lot further. And, I typically shoot for that. If I see 30 to 50%, I kind of reason with myself in the moment. And I'm like, you know what? Let's move on to the next one. But, a lot of these end up running, 100 to 200%. And I'm like, oh, man, I was in that thing so early. I called that. But it's okay. It's okay. Regardless, guys, new all-time high coming over here on TSM. That's the call. Okay. It's a coming. Maybe it pulls back from right here. If it pulls back, it's a clear as day buying opportunity from this golden pocket. So maybe we see some action like that. I will buy that. All right. That's pretty much all I really wanted to talk about today. Now I'm just going to update some trade ideas I gave you over the last few trading sessions and coming into this week. Costco, guys. All right. You are just inching higher. I do think 1,000 is incoming in the short term over here. But you did break out to new all-time high and out of that little flag we pointed out over there. Next one we got is Roblox, guys. I do think 55.10 is incoming. This was, personally on the focus list coming into this week. Above 50.73, we had 53.16, then 55.10, and then I do think it's going to make a move up to 60. But weekly chart over here is really what I was paying attention to. Typically, when you have bullish structure over in this bad boy right here, as well as just a lot of tickers I pay attention to, they all happen to move kind of similar. That's why I like them. I don't like stuff that's random. I don't like it. Okay, but you have these red weeks over here. Typically, after you get the first green week. This is a perfect example right here. After you get the first green week, if you have that bull structure, see how this high took out this previous high over here? Well, now you have a higher high. Look for the higher low. And the first green week is, typically what marks that. Oh, you have another one. You made the higher high. Oh, first green week after your series of red weeks. Guess what that was followed by? Okay, so I think it's going to be the same case over here. I think 55.10 is incoming, but congratulations if you played this with us. You know, you're up decent amount right now, and don't forget to take those profits, guys. We call out plenty of trade opportunities here on this channel on a weekly basis for you to print that money. Okay, KO guys, this is a little guy that's waking up. You're buying off of 63.18 support, or you're seeing buyers step in over here. I like how you got the increasing volume on the indecision candlestick, guys. I'm assuming a position was taken. I think it's probably going to get bought up. All right. But I'm not personally going to be touching it. All right. I tried it out. I'm not touching it right now. There's no point. Nike, this is one I really like. I'm really fond of it. Keep finding buyers off of the short-term moving averages over here. I'm liking how this is setting up. I think over 79.93, 79.93. I think it has a clear shot up to 82.42 and then 84 bucks. You? All right. Guys, it's just taking its dear sweet time. We got a big breakout after this massive, you know, almost 40% move 2 weeks ago. You know, break and retest off of that. You're now finding buyers 2 weeks in a row. Take out 24.85. You have a clear shot up to 25.59, but I do think 27.13 to 30.92 is coming over the coming weeks. We're talking 1 to 3 weeks. I think that'll be the case. All right. And if you were, I called out the 117.25C, okay, when we were coming back for the retest. Guess what? All right, you're going to be up like, you know, 300% if we see that move up to 30. So, you know, again, on this move, don't forget to take them profits, guys. You know, I call it safe plays here on this channel. I know these tickers, so, you know, these aren't just, I don't play these gambling tickers that, you know, sometimes move, sometimes don't. I like what I see, okay? Upstart, this is another one over here. I like how this is setting up over here on the weekly time frame. Someone shouted out in the comment section yesterday. Guess what? I was already paying attention. I was already going to bring it up to our attention. But thank you very much. Again, I got a list of tickers that, you know, I consistently just keep my eyes on. All right. And, you know, right now we have a bunch of big breakouts going on, and Upstart and you over there. And, you know, some of these smaller names over here, these small/mid caps, they're set up to rip. Okay. This looks, you know, it reminds me of RK over here. But break and retest, you're finding buyers, you know, near that. Weekly 9 down there. I'm really liking how this is set up. I think you're probably going to see a run up back to this high over here at, you know, around 82 bucks. 81.97. Okay. Next one I'm going to point out, Uber, guys. I just don't suggest touching it right now until you can see a move over 73.63. There's no reason to touch this, but I will point out it's got that inverse head and shoulders kind of look to it. So if you do swoop back up there and take out 73.63 from there, you probably do get a move up to 77 bucks. But I'm just pointing out, you got the bearish engulfing candlestick off increasing volume today. It's probably coming down to 69.87 sooner rather than later. That's where you pay attention to it again. And then if it doesn't hold this golden pocket, worst case scenario, it comes down to 67.12 like we were originally looking for. And that is what I'm interested in buying dated calls on. LLY, just an update on a you know, little trade idea over here, guys. Okay, you didn't get the pullback I exactly was looking for. All right, but you are grinding higher towards that 820.73 spot. And here on the weekly time frame, I'm just going to say you're coming into our targets, okay, which is, you know, the short-term moving average up here, 820. That's originally what we were looking for from guess where down here, okay, after this week right here, it was sitting at 750. Congratulations if you play this bad boy too. All right, guys, so that is the video. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. And if you did, please remember to leave a like. You know, if you're not already following on the Twitter, the link is going to be down below. I will be posting, you know, charts over there. I think you'll be fond of those. You could see things on the fly. I posted Microsoft before close over there. All right. But yeah, other than that, guys, I appreciate you. I appreciate your time, and peace.